Yo, what's going on? It's someone that's no one here today, and today we're going to talk about awareness. Specifically, if your level of awareness has an effect in how you experience a drug. In other words, if you happen to be paying attention more, or if I'm just able to pick up more things from my experience naturally, then in theory, I would have a richer experience. Not necessarily good or bad, because that can go either way with awareness, but the question we're tackling today is if having the awareness to see a drug in its full effect, will it give the user a more fulfilling experience? So what somewhat motivated me to make this video were numb individuals. What I mean by that is pretty much hardcore drug users. People who have pretty much been addicted to something at some point, and we'll use the deep end of heroin, meth, crack, or whatever is similar as our example. But I've met and talked with a good amount of individuals who happen to go through something like this. Some of them still continued their drug use, but either it was more spread out or they moved to a less taxing substance. But regardless of this, often what I notice what will happen is if we smoke some weed or even do something light, sometimes it can be kratom. Kana is a good example I've had a past heroin user try, but after they smoke or ingest whatever lighter substance, I would notice that they wouldn't get as high as me or people who didn't use hard drugs, and the length that they felt high was somewhat notably shorter. Now, why would this be? I don't really hear people talking about this that much online as I do when in real life situations. I guess partially why, because this subject matter would get blocked by drug abuse awareness and whatnot. But I think an explanation for why people may experience this is conditioning and the overall change in brain chemistry plus your expectations. Now, dopamine is a pretty easy concept to grasp. Basically, it's a molecule in our head that goes off when we are satisfied by something. Examples would be eating food, having sex, smoking weed, smoking crack, or do any drug in all honesty. But when we do these harder drugs, our dopamine levels shoot up way higher compared to everyday normal activities. Meth being one of the strongest to do this, but heroin and crack aren't lacking by any means. And that effect isn't the only chemical that will be affected. It depends on the substance, of course, but I think it is one of the key ones that not only takes part in building our expectations and desires, but also the degree to which we sense a substance. This goes without saying for those addicted and experience short or long-term withdrawal effects, which, if you have any cravings for a certain strength or a certain feeling in general, I think that would indirectly not only diminish your general awareness when you go on about your day-to-day living, but I think it also can affect how you feel other drugs, in which they may not be as satisfying compared with if you hadn't had that run with that prior hard substance at all. So speaking here as a psychonaut, someone who sets out to explore different states of consciousness, the experiences of the past have often helped build more of me, so to say, and have increased my awareness for different states of mind. And indirectly, I suppose to help build my awareness of the information behind substances. Now, I can't say that this will stand true for everybody or for every substance, but generally, because of this increase of my awareness, I'm better able to navigate myself in and or through these states. Now, in terms of satisfaction, granted I have no tolerance and am fairly fresh with what I am taking, this is still very receivable, but my general state of mind can mature the more I have been in a state. Now, psychedelics are like the X factor to this, because I don't think your awareness with the drug can be the only thing to make you more aware of and involved with the experience. This is because psychedelics involves the self, the environment, all the way to the entire universe itself, often being tied with themes of spirituality, philosophy, mythology, symbology, technology, astrology, much more than that. But what I think is that the more you're aware of how this universe came to be, how it works, and where it is going, to how to flow with the energy within you and around you, and just the present moment, you'll easily find yourself in a much more natural state of being while on a psychedelic. While, let's say you didn't have awareness of how we got to where we are, or just how things work in general, Your mind may be more preoccupied thinking about and exploring these things, while someone with a deep sense on it already may experience or place attention on other things a part of the experience. But of course, built awareness by using the substance over a period of time, I think will eventually also bring you to later concluding states of mind. For example, time distortion, or the way walls melt or morph, may capture your attention early on, but on your next trip, you may not pay as much attention to this because you're already aware of this. Altogether, I think if you continue to trip in a similar manner, you'll eventually become used to the experience, but granted, with you reaching later somewhat concluding states of mind varies on traditional set and setting rules. I also like to think of purpose as a rule, but it somewhat ties with set. Also, the substance and dose will play an effect. Now, the last thing that I want to bring up is our natural ability. What I mean is that all of us have different attention spans, different analytical skills, different points of interest, and so on. So partially, we can see this comes from our genes. The things we come to be aware of and place our minds on may be due to our inheritance. For example, it may be possible that your ancestors normally came across food in big spurts, meaning that when they got their opportunity to eat, it was wise of them to eat as much as possible. This could be a disadvantage for someone today, as their awareness may naturally come to be filled with eating a lot of food. But we can also see differences in just general ability to recognize something. A common example I'm sure many of you know is the old lady and the young woman. It should be up on the screen now, but many people will become split when asked what they see. Some may come to see both right away as well, but the picture lies as both, though each representation hides its other part. Now, in terms of what society has done for our general awareness is somewhat broad, but I like to focus on its education and culture. Now, in terms of providing education, depending on the type you receive, you gain awareness of basic learning, maybe a particular skill, and just your awareness of the world in general increases. While culture, on the other hand, can influence your behavior and your values. What you come to appreciate and value is often influenced by the people in your environment, especially those that had a part when you were growing up. You may have been brought up in a family where love is highly valued and spending time amongst each other is a norm. While on the other hand, you may have been brought up in a shitty place, maybe your mom or dad isn't around for whatever reason, maybe one of them is an alcoholic, they may watch too much TV and or eat too much. All these types of behaviors can influence a child, but a lot of it is culture based and we may come to ingrain these behaviors and values ourselves. And typically what we value is what we're going to be aware of. But overall, all of these effects that come naturally are due to our environment and society, I think can also have an impact to how we go about and feel a substance. Someone who is more open to experience is much more likely to be aware of the consideration of doing hard drugs, and our set values affect our awareness for doing or continuing to do drugs, which ones to do, how often to do it, and also it aids in setting our expectations of it. So I'm gonna end it there. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you want me to do a follow-up on this or have any questions, or if you feel like there's anything I missed, let me know below in the comments. And if you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, follow the socials. It's been someone that's no one, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.